You know you've hit 60 when getting up from the recliner isn't just getting up anymore. It's a complex ritual with a knee symphony of pops, clicks, and a relieved sigh as if you've just climbed a hill. And if you're like millions of others, you probably have a recurring question in your head every morning. Why do my joints hurt so much? No injury, no fall, no playing park football, but your knees still ache as if they're applying for retirement. Some blame age, some blame the weather, some blame the hard-to-open vitamin bottle cap, but few think about their meals. Yes, meals, those things that happen 3 times a day, maybe 4 if we accidentally grab a midnight snack. What we put into our mouths daily might not just nourish our bodies, but also feed the very inflammation that's plaguing our joints. So if you're looking for a gentle approach that doesn't require more meds or lifting weights bigger than your cat, welcome. Today's video will reveal 3 types of plant protein. They sound gentle, but inside they're a special forces team dedicated to soothing your immune system and supporting your joints every day. You don't need to go fully vegetarian. You don't need to memorize complex chemical names. You just need to know how to choose the right foods. Ready? Now you might be thinking, protein? That's for those kids lifting weights, drinking green smoothies, and talking in acronyms. Actually, no. You might not have biceps the size of a cereal box. You don't need to do crunches on a yoga mat. But if you want to step up onto a curb without a little groan, your body still needs protein. Your muscles, even the small ones around your joints, are like the padding between you and the cold, hard floor. They support you when you stand, when you sit, when you reach for that remote that fell under the couch. And your joints, whether it's your knees, hips, wrists, or shoulders, only work smoothly when they have muscle support. The problem is, after 60, muscles don't just stick around if we don't feed them. Every year, if we're not careful, we lose 1 to 2% of our muscle mass, even more if we're inactive or dealing with inflammation. And here's the crucial point. When muscles weaken, joints have to work twice as hard. The result? Aches, swelling, pain, which leads to less activity and then even weaker muscles. A very familiar, vicious cycle. So even if you don't hit the gym or run every morning, you still need enough protein to keep your framework running smoothly. And if the type of protein you choose also helps fight inflammation, supports connective tissue, and is easy to digest and prepare, then that's fantastic for your joints and your kitchen. The good news is, there are 3 types of plant protein that can do just that. No complex recipes, no 2-horsepower blenders needed. Just a few simple steps, and you can start protecting your joints right from your next meal. The number 1 plant-based protein source: soy, tofu, tempeh, soy milk. There are some foods that look delicate and feel light on the stomach, but hide a ninja-like strength within. Soybeans are a perfect example. They might look as mild as a piece of steamed tofu resting obediently on a plate, but in the world of nutrition, they're a master at reducing inflammation, nourishing muscles, and protecting joints. Tofu? Isn't that bland vegetarian food? Some people hear tofu and immediately think of something mushy, lacking personality, and needing a whole bottle of soy sauce to be interesting. But don't let appearances fool you. Inside a pristine white piece of tofu is an entire team of plant-based chemicals that have been researched and proven by dozens of serious studies. They have names, though a bit hard to remember, like genistein and didzane, 2 components belonging to the isoflavone group, experts in soothing an overactive immune system, especially in aching joints. Simply put, when your immune system is working overtime, attacking even healthy cartilage tissue, these isoflavones step in like gentle managers, patting it on the shoulder and saying, "All right, that's enough. These knees are friends, not foes." But what exactly do soybeans do? According to a 2021 study from MDPI, isoflavones from soybeans can reduce inflammatory substances like TNF-alpha, IL-6, and CRP, the usual suspects in chronic arthritis cases. Additionally, soybeans contain a bit of alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, a plant-based omega-3, though not as potent as salmon. It subtly helps reduce inflammation around joint tissues, especially useful when consumed regularly. Notably, in a trial study in Japan, Individuals with rheumatoid arthritis who supplemented with 8 grams of soy peptides daily for 4 weeks significantly reduced their pain, swelling, and DAS-28 score, an index measuring joint disease activity. And no, they didn't need to eat an entire bucket of tofu every day to see the effect. I'm a man. Will eating soy affect me? This is certainly one of the most frequently asked questions, and also why many gentlemen avoid tofu as if it were a cold bath in winter. But what does science say? The short answer is it's fine if you consume it at normal levels as part of a healthy diet. Currently, there's no solid scientific evidence to suggest that eating about 100 to 150 grams of tofu daily or drinking 1 glass of soy milk negatively affects male hormones or lowers testosterone. Large studies, including reviews from the American Urological Association and many other reputable health organizations, have confirmed that soy does not feminize men, as some rumors often spread. So, gentlemen can absolutely enjoy soy foods, from tofu, tempeh, to soy milk, without having to glance around to see if anyone is judging their portion. The only thing that might change after consistent use is the pain you feel every time you stand up from a chair, because your joints might become more comfortable, less stiff, and less sore. And that, frankly, is a welcome change. Okay, I'm convinced, but how do I eat it correctly? The good news is you don't need to turn your kitchen into a lab or become a soy expert. Just a few simple, easy to cook, easy to eat options, and most importantly, ones that won't cause a taste crisis. Here are 3 common ways, both effective and suitable for most palates. First up is tofu, a familiar and incredibly easy to prepare ingredient. A reasonable serving is about 100 to 150 grams per meal. Use 3 to 4 times a week is enough to bring benefits to muscles and joints. You can steam tofu with mushrooms and a few slices of ginger for a light, refreshing dish, or pan-fry it with vegetables for a fragrant meal, or lightly bake it and drizzle with sesame sauce if you want a change of taste. All options are easy to digest, not greasy, and very suitable for a healthy diet. A little tip: try to choose tofu labeled Queso 4 on the packaging. This indicates the tofu was set with calcium, helping you naturally supplement minerals for your bones without needing a thumb-sized pill every morning. If you want something firmer and richer, tempeh, fermented soybeans, is an ideal choice. Use about 80 to 100 grams per serving. Tempeh has a nutty and meatier flavor than tofu, making it great for replacing meat in salads, sandwiches, or simply sliced and pan-fried with a little olive oil. Additionally, tempeh is easier to digest than regular beans, so if you've ever experienced bloating or indigestion from tofu or regular soy dishes, this could be a much more comfortable solution. And if mornings require speed, unsweetened soy milk will help you start your day gently yet nutritiously. A glass of about 250 milliliters each morning can replace cow's milk, be mixed with oats, or added to whole grain cereal. A small note: choose the unsweetened variety, and if the product is fortified with calcium or vitamin D, even better, as these 2 nutrients effectively support protein absorption and bone protection, especially after 60 inches. Another worthwhile question: do I need to eat it every day? Number soybeans aren't medicine. They don't need a strict dosage. But if you eat them regularly 3 to 5 times a week, your body will thank you. And your knees, they can't talk, but they'll show it by making fewer creaking noises when you stand up from a chair. And if you're wondering, I'm not vegetarian, is tofu only for plant-based eaters? Let me reiterate, nobody is asking you to eat tofu to meditate under a waterfall. You're just eating it to walk more lightly without needing to lean on your knees. Compared to red meat, which contains many inflammatory substances, refined animal protein, which doesn't come with natural anti-inflammatory compounds, and peanuts, which are highly allergenic, soybeans are a safe, effective, and low-fuss combination. It won't make you strong like an athlete, but if it helps you walk around the yard without stopping halfway to rub your knees, then that's a small victory. So we have a food that won't cause arguments at the dinner table, a complete protein source that can help your joints be less grumpy, and a valid reason to eat tofu without needing permission from your doctor or your spouse. If you ever thought soy was only for people who eat vegetarian and restrict everything, now's the time to reconsider, because who knows that seemingly mild food might be the very reason you avoid another anti-inflammatory prescription next week. After getting acquainted with soybeans, a gentle warrior in the world of protein, it's time to move on to another type that's less controversial, less misunderstood, and especially friendly to those who don't have much patience in the kitchen. Plant protein, number 2, lentils. If soybeans can make some people worried about hormones, lentils are a food no one needs to be wary of. They don't have a bad reputation, don't cause common allergies, and notably don't need to be soaked overnight. Just hearing that makes them worth adding to your menu. Lentils are small, flat, unassuming seeds. But like many small but mighty things, they contain a whole list of benefits that your joints and immune system will appreciate after just the first week of regular use. In 100 grams of cooked lentils, you'll find about 9 grams of protein, enough to keep your muscles functioning stably, but not enough to make anyone worry about eating too much protein. They also contain a range of minerals whose names might sound like elements from the periodic table, but are very practical for older adults, such as potassium, magnesium, and iron, 3 things that play a crucial role in keeping your body from stiffening up like a folded chair left out in the yard through winter. What's even more interesting is that lentils are rich in polyphenols, a group of natural anti-inflammatory compounds that can soothe the overzealous signals your immune system sometimes mistakenly sends to your joints. A 2023 review study showed that lentils significantly reduce inflammatory markers like CRP and IL-6, 2 key culprits that cause joints to swell, ache, and react strongly to cold weather or after meals containing too many refined foods. Additionally, because lentils contain a large amount of soluble fiber, they also support gut health, the starting point for many chronic inflammatory disorders. When the gut microbiome is well nourished, your body reduces the release of systemic inflammatory signals, allowing connective tissues, including joint cartilage, to have a chance to recover without constant disruption from false alarms from the immune system. This also means that a warm bowl of lentil soup might not only warm your stomach on a cold day, but also help your knees complain less the next morning. For those who don't want to spend too much time in the kitchen, lentils are a delightful option. They don't need overnight soaking, don't require special equipment, no blenders or strange tools. Just a small pot, some onions and garlic, a little turmeric or tomatoes, and you have a dish that's fragrant, soft, joint-friendly, and suits the palate of someone used to light, wholesome eating. If you've ever worried that joint-friendly foods are often bland, hard to eat, or only for those on strict diets, then lentils are a welcome exception. They're easy to digest, don't cause much gas like some other beans, and can be combined with many familiar dishes like brown rice, whole wheat bread, or even sprinkled on salads if you're in the mood for something cold but still healthy. Another plus is that lentils help you feel full longer, thereby preventing sudden cravings that might lead you to the fridge at 10 p.m., staring at a tub of ice cream when you know you should be eating something else. So, if you're looking for a plant protein that can support joints, stabilize blood sugar, won't upset your stomach, and doesn't require memorizing long recipes, lentils are a strong contender. And if you're thinking, I've never tried this, will it suit my taste? Let me tell you, many people start eating lentils just because their doctor recommended it, but after a few tries, they continue eating them because they feel lighter, enjoy the taste, and especially, their mornings no longer involve rubbing their knees as much. Regarding usage, you can try lentil soup cooked with turmeric and tomatoes, a classic in the Mediterranean anti-inflammatory diet. Just cook for 25 minutes, and the lentils will be soft, the aroma pleasant, and most importantly, your joints will have no reason to complain. Additionally, you can make lentil and oat porridge for a light evening meal, or mix lentils into roasted vegetable salads if you want to try something a bit different but still healthy. The recommended amount is 100 to 150 grams of cooked lentils per serving, consumed about 2 to 3 times per week, is enough to create a cumulative effect without getting tired of it. And if you have leftover cooked lentils, don't fret. You can roast them until crispy to make a snack instead of potato chips. Both delicious and helpful when you're looking for a healthy anti-inflammatory snack. In short, Lentils are for those who want to care for their joints patiently without completely changing their lifestyle. They're not flashy, not a trendy superfood, but they quietly and effectively work like a loyal assistant. Your knees might not say thank you, but if you pay attention, you'll find they startle you less every time you step out of bed in the morning. And if a simple food can bring that feeling, then why not give it a try? If you feel that lentils are a gentle, easy to start, and digestive friendly option, then congratulations, you're two-thirds of the way there. But don't put away your notes just yet, because there's one more candidate that, though not flashy, quietly scores major points for its impressive internal and external capabilities, from your gut to your joints, and even your mood after a meal. Yes, the last food in today's trio of plant proteins is chickpeas, a gentle sounding name, but if you've ever casually dipped into hummus at a buffet, you might have been using it more than you realize. If you've ever seen those small, pale yellow round beans sitting quietly in a tub of hummus at the supermarket and wondered, what are these for? Then congratulations, you've just met a humble but incredibly useful food for your joints. Chickpeas, also known as garbanzo beans, don't demand that you become a vegetarian, nor do they require you to completely change your cooking habits. They just need a small place in your weekly meals. And if you've already eaten hummus, you've started without even knowing it. Chickpeas are a plant protein source rich in protein, easy to digest, and come with a collection of anti-inflammatory compounds from their outer skin. In 100 grams of cooked chickpeas, you get about 8 to 9 grams of protein, enough to nourish the muscles that are quietly supporting your joints, especially when you stand up from that recliner or step down a curb without wanting to groan. But the special something lies in that seemingly useless skin, where compounds like quercetin, camphorol, and saponins reside. These substances have been studied for their ability to soothe persistent inflammatory reactions, which are often the reason your knees or wrists suddenly act up every morning. Just think, if a few spoonfuls of chickpeas a day could help you stand up without having to warm up your knees, would you want to try it? One study on an arthritis model in mice showed that when chickpeas were added to their diet at a 20% level, the amount of swelling and inflammatory markers like IL-1 beta decreased to a level comparable to the group using naproxen, a common anti-inflammatory drug that many of us probably already have in our medicine cabinets. Does that surprise you? Of course, you don't need 20% of your diet to be chickpeas. Just using them 3 to 4 times a week in the right amounts and ways is enough to create a positive cumulative effect for your joint tissues. Additionally, chickpeas are rich in connective tissue supporting minerals like magnesium, zinc, and folate, elements often deficient in older adults, especially with irregular eating habits or chronic conditions. Has your doctor ever told you to supplement magnesium but you didn't know how to get it without taking another pill? Well, this is a much gentler option. Digestion-wise, chickpeas are more agreeable than you might think. If you've been hesitant to eat beans due to bloating concerns, chickpeas, when thoroughly cooked or rinsed if canned, usually don't cause strong reactions like some other legumes. Have you ever tried hummus? Someone once told me, I don't know what hummus is, but I ate it and it was good. That's the best testament. Hummus is the most popular dish made from chickpeas, pureed with olive oil, garlic, lemon juice, and a bit of tahini, sesame paste. Just spread a thin layer on whole wheat bread, dip with celery or carrots, and you have a snack that's anti-inflammatory, doesn't spike blood sugar, and keeps you full longer. Tell me, what other snack is so virtuous? If you don't like hummus, boiled chickpeas are also an easy option. You can add them to salads, stews, cook them with vegetables, or if you like to snack, you can roast crispy chickpeas with a little olive oil and turmeric powder, making a crunchy snack instead of opening a bag of potato chips. I bet many people have tried roasted chickpeas once and exclaimed, "Oh, this is surprisingly tasty and not greasy." Have you felt that way? If you've cooked chickpeas before but weren't satisfied, maybe next time try the canned variety. Rinse them thoroughly under running water a few times, drain, and they cook faster while retaining all the nutrients. A reasonable serving is about half a cup of cooked chickpeas per meal, used about 3 times a week. If you eat hummus, about 2 to 3 tablespoons daily is more than enough. Small note, if buying canned chickpeas, Choose the low-sodium variety or rinse them thoroughly to reduce excess salt. This method is simple yet effective. Have you tried it? What I like about chickpeas is that you don't need to make a big commitment. No need to completely change your diet. No need to learn complicated recipes. No need to convince your whole family to switch dishes. Just add chickpeas to your salad or keep a tub of hummus in the fridge. You've started taking care of your joints without needing to report to anyone. It's like watering a plant in your garden, not to make it grow overnight, but to keep it from wilting day by day. Chickpeas are the same. Your joints won't thank you immediately, but if one morning you step out of bed and your knees are silent, remember what you ate yesterday. If you're choosing among the 3 plant proteins in today's discussion and want to start with the easiest to eat, then chickpeas are the safest, easiest to use, and least controversial option. No one has ever said, "I'm allergic to hummus," or "chickpeas make me tired." On the contrary, many people start eating chickpeas just out of curiosity, but continue because they find they move more lightly, have less pain, and their meals are more enjoyable. Perhaps that's what you're looking for, isn't it? While the 3 plant proteins discussed today are reliable friends for your joints, there are a few points you should keep in mind before putting all 3 on your table and rotating them daily like a supplement schedule. First, if you are new to legumes, especially after a long period of not eating them, or if you have a somewhat sensitive digestive system, take it slow. Just like when you start exercising after many years of rest, your body needs time to get used to the fiber and new plant compounds. Start with small portions, for example, half of the suggested serving, and eat them at lunch instead of dinner. This will help your body adapt more easily without causing bloating or discomfort. If you are taking medication for arthritis, high blood pressure, or diabetes, there's no need to stop your medication when eating these 3 beans. But remember, these are supportive foods, not a replacement for prescriptions. Symptom reduction will happen gradually, and if you find your joints feel better after a few weeks, don't rush to cut back on medication on your own. Inform your doctor first, because sometimes eating healthy can lead to prescription adjustments, but doing it correctly will be much safer. Have you ever improved your diet and secretly stopped your medication? If so, next time, try this instead. Eat well, note the effects, then discuss with your doctor. That way, both your joints and your doctor will be happy. For those with irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, frequent bloating, or who have reacted strongly to peanuts or soybeans, you need to choose more carefully. You might try tempeh instead of tofu because the fermented form is easier to digest, or use finely pureed hummus instead of whole chickpeas to reduce pressure on the gut. Also, remember to rinse canned beans thoroughly and cook them well. These are 2 small actions that significantly reduce discomfort-causing agents like bloating oligosaccharides. Are you worried about your stomach rumbling after a meal? Everyone has had that moment, but with proper preparation, good food can still be gentle on your digestive system. Another special case is people on a low FODMAP diet, a group of fermentable substances that can cause bloating, who may need to avoid or limit certain legumes. However, with small portions, proper combination, and eating with probiotic-rich foods or leafy greens, many people can still tolerate beans without issues. If you are following a special diet guided by a professional, don't hesitate to show them the ingredient list and ask, "Are chickpeas okay, doctor?" Because sometimes just switching from mayonnaise-based salad dressing to hummus can improve your meal while still adhering to general rules. Finally, if you have a hormone disorder, have undergone endocrine surgery, or are concerned about soy due to unclear information, remember that consuming it at normal food levels, like 1 glass of soy milk, 100 grams of tofu, is perfectly safe for most older adults. Organizations like the Mayo Clinic and the American Dietetic Association confirm that soy does not negatively affect male or female hormones when consumed in moderation. If you still have concerns, lentils or chickpeas are 2 non-controversial options that can completely replace soy while maintaining anti-inflammatory benefits. So if you plan to try these 3 types of beans, start with the one you find easiest to eat. Maybe it's hummus if you like dipping veggie snacks. Maybe it's lentil soup if you like warm dishes in the evening, or a soft piece of grilled tofu if you're used to Asian cuisine. You don't need to eat all 3 in 1 week, nor do you need to pick the exact gram. The important thing is to choose what you like, because when you like it, you'll stick with it. And when you stick with it, your joints will have a chance to thank you without having to say a word. We've just gone through 3 foods that sound simple and look unassuming, but have the ability to support your joints in ways many might not expect. Soybeans, with their team of isoflavones that modulate the immune system and protect muscles around joints. Lentils, quietly soothing the gut, stabilizing blood sugar, and thereby reducing systemic inflammatory responses. Chickpeas, nutty and adaptable, supporting connective tissue without upsetting your stomach. These 3 proteins don't need to be glorified as superfoods, nor do they need to be the main course at every meal. They just need to appear regularly 2 to 4 times a week in the right dishes, the right amounts, at the right time, and the rest, your body will do very well on its own. If you're thinking, I'm not vegetarian, is this really necessary? Remember, eating a piece of tofu doesn't make you a monk. Eating hummus doesn't force you to give up roasted chicken, and eating lentils doesn't turn your kitchen into an Indian restaurant. This isn't about changing your entire diet, but about adding a few beneficial foods, so your knees don't groan every morning, so your hands are less stiff when holding a spoon, and so the next time you go down the stairs, you don't have to cling to the railing like you're trekking. You can start with the food you find most appealing. If you've spread hummus on bread and liked it, keep going. If you've cooked lentil soup and felt lighter, keep that recipe. And if you've never eaten tofu but are curious, why not try grilling it with a little olive oil and sesame sauce and see how your joints respond after a few weeks? Your joints don't speak, but they are very good at expressing emotions. They hurt when neglected, but they will also silently be content when properly cared for. And sometimes what they need isn't strong medicine or complaints, but a simple meal with the right kind of plant protein, unobtrusive but very effective. So, if you feel you've heard enough, understood enough, and are just waiting for a reason to start, now is the best time. No need to wait for the new year, no need to write long plans. Just next time you go grocery shopping, choose a familiar type of bean that you haven't tried in a new way. And if after a week your knees speak up by staying silent, then remember to come back here and say just one simple sentence. It really works.